one thing about extraction shooters that almost every player hates is dropping in late into a raid.
Why?
Every extraction shooter handles this differently, but when it comes to Arc Raiders, the problem usually what people have is that every container is already looted, and you know, there is just not much to do unless you are there for doing a quest. The big arc is almost always dead too, and it just sucks because now you have to just look for the exit, right, and start over, and it takes time, and you know, often you don't even get out. Like, often people will kill you before you get to the extraction. So yeah, like, being in late for an extraction is usually in many people's eyes just terrible. There is a lot of people trying to change Embark's mind about it. A lot of people are signing petitions and complaining online endlessly. When I started playing the game, I kinda didn't like it too, but I've noticed something. I've noticed, and that was from the start, and I'm noticing it even now, which means that, you know, whatever updates they did, they didn't change anything. I have noticed that when I drop in late to any raid, I don't go in for an exit right away. I always kind of scout out, like, where can I get out in the last minute, and just kind of walk around and try to loot anything, look for any container that's not opened yet. And yeah, sometimes you don't come up with anything, but the thing is, a lot of the times when I do find a container that's not opened, there's a lot of good stuff in it, and I was just like kind of wondering couple of days now, like, what does it, you know, why is it that when I go to, say, like a room or even like an entire section, entire area on the map that is supposed to be a high loot quality, why is there like one random container still closed when there is everything else looted? And I have kind of conducted kind of like a, well, first I came up with like a theory which I now feel like is more true and true. And then we spent a couple of days trying this, which is difficult because you don't get to choose when you drop in. We find out that there is a certain very specific way loot spawns in the game. And I actually went, well, first I went to try to contact Embark or at least any devs, and they just ignored it. Like, you know, I would expect that, but I tried to look online for if they have ever answered this, and there is not almost anything about this, and I think that is on purpose. So the first thing that I kind of thought was a thing, it's possible, is that loot isn't already kind of like determined in the containers, which is something that a lot of looter shooters do, is that you have very specific small amount of chance for some items, very specific high amount of chance for other items, then they all spawn in the containers, and you need to just look for them to find them in the containers. But the reality is that they are being generated as you are looting, which is the first thing that I think I have a good evidence for, because lately, and it's not just like lately, it's been all around the game, but when you get into a raid that has a high ping, which happens often, servers are bad, my connection isn't great either, but it's usually because Embark's servers are not good. When you get high ping, you can actually sometimes see the searching when you're looting a container. You can see the individual boxes kind of glitch out, and I've seen it many times now. For a split second, for like a frame or two, you see different items in there, and it felt like the container is kind of like rolling dice. Every time you're searching the one bar, the server is rolling dice on you with the percentages, and when it lands on something common, it gives you something common, etc, etc. This is actually important information, because it turns out, I think right now, I will keep testing it, but it turns out that when you spawn in late into a raid, the way it works is that of all the entire map you just spawned into, there is 0.05, let's say, percent chance a container will contain somewhere a blueprint. Each blueprint, for example, has its own fixed spawn rate. It's not like any blueprint can drop and there is a 0.0% chance for it. It's that every blueprint, every separate blueprint that is possibly in the map right now has this possibility, and the map, the server kind of pulls from a pool of items that should be spawning in the map and applies the percentage to it. So what happens is that if you spawn in late into a raid and there is unopened containers, these chances, these percentages go up because the other containers are already unlocked and they have already pulled the common items. So when you are spawning in and it's 16 minutes left and you find unopened container, normally if you spawned at the start of the raid you would have 30 minutes, you know, to loot. You would have also much higher chances to pull the common items you don't need. But when I spawn in late and I find an unopened container, there has been 15 minutes of people already looting the unimportant items, and I now have a really good chance of finding purple items, blueprints, blue items, you know, weapons, all these really good things. Mainly this sort of means that the game gives you loot based on a loot pool, which is something that is not normal, and I do think this is made specifically because some people spawn in late. And I've seen a lot of people just say, hey, I've spawned in late, so now I have to start killing people to get their loot, or go out of the map right away and come back when I have the full time, and these things. And I think you're making a big mistake, because if you manage to find like one unopened container, and believe me, like people skip a lot, even in one room they don't loot everything. I've seen it a lot of times, so don't be scared to just go into clearly loot that room and just look for one container somewhere that wasn't touched, because it happens all the time. And then, like I said, these containers will now have higher chances, higher spawn rates of the good stuff, because the common stuff that is common already spawned into the other containers. It's all chances, so I can't promise you that if you spawn in late that you will get all the blueprints in the world, but the spawn rates seem to be much higher when you spawn in late. And it's not because Embark is trying to give you advantages because you spawn in late. It's literally just math. It's literally just math that they put into the game themselves, which is that there is a specific pool that the map has of items that it needs to give away should you find them, and the pool naturally gets smaller and smaller as the looting happens and the map progresses. And the people who are earlier have much bigger chances of getting out of the pool all the items you don't want, all the common items that you don't need, right? And so when you spawn in late, naturally the pool changes and the percentages have to go up, because if you looted every single container on the map, which probably never happens, to be honest, there's not enough time and not enough organized people to loot every container, so I think there's always at least like 10-20 containers always closed on every map. But if you looted every single container there is on the map, you would have to find at least like 20 or 30 blueprints and all the purple items, all these things, because the pool of the map is always going to contain them, because they have fixed percentages of drop and they don't generate as you are opening the container. They should be already somewhere like in the database of the server, just waiting to be pulled like Pokemon cards. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say today. If you spawn in late into the map, don't just rush to the exit and try to loot unopened containers every day, because you will be you will be getting much bigger chances at good stuff, right? That's all from me. See ya.